Good late evening, everyone, and welcome to another Kano Tryharding Modern. Now, I have had a very long day today. Work was very stressful. I hope you're having a good New Year's Eve, I believe is when this is coming out. My stream last night, which was supposed to be now when I'm recording this, well, supposed to be a few hours ago, actually, when I'm recording this, got postponed. So if you're catching this video and you have nothing to do on New Year's Eve, I'll be streaming. Hopefully, barring something else catastrophic. So let's get down to it. After the strange green Tron video that we did, we're doing a much more typical list of Tron with 20 lands, and we're playing 4 Explorers. Now the difference between this version and last version is we've cut down on some of the creature threats. We cut Emrakul in favor of a second Ulamog, and we're playing 4 Karn Great Creator. The sideboard has been adjusted to rehab the wishboard. I think this is the same wishboard as my previous list. The difference is, in this version, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. The difference is in this version, we're not running any Oblivion Stones. Now, this is for 2 reasons. Number 1, we do have 2 Ugins in the deck, so that Ugin is kind of our Oblivion Stone effect. We also have a lot more enchantment removal this time around. We have 2 Nature's Claims and 2 Wilts in case we do run against a Blood Moon. But Oblivion Stone is generally good versus things like Blood Moon, and here we have way more forests, and theoretically we can ramp out more lands in the time that we would be under a Blood Moon that we could just hard cast our threats anyway. At least that's the theory. The other notable thing about this list is we can assemble Tron on turn 2. If we have like Tron Land Star, Tron Land Explore, Tron Land, then we could untap, play a land, and on turn 3 actually play a turn 3 Ugin, which would be pretty sweet. Other than that, I don't think there are anything that I don't think there's any plays or lines I need to draw attention to prior to the game, so let's go ahead and see what we can do. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alrighty. Round 1, here we go. So we have Forest, Star, Stirring, Scrying. This is a pretty good chance of like a turn 4 Tron. I'm going to keep this. We're going to start Urza's Mine, Chromatic Star. I think with this type of deck, I'm going to mulligan even less aggressively than I normally would. Unless it's imperative that I assemble turn 3 Tron for whatever kind of deck I'm playing against. Because I feel like the Explorer is going to give us a little bit more consistency. Alright, opponent starts Fiery Islet, so they're probably Blitz. Okay, they play a Swift Spear, indicating to me that yes, indeed, they are Blitz. They hit us down to 19. We untap, we draw Power Plant, so here come that Tron. Oh man. Do we Ancient Stirrings now? I think we Ancient Stirrings, because if my opponent is like Grixis or something, I may want to... Okay, we're going to take Ulamog. I may want to have another like redundant threat. At least that was the idea behind my play anyway. If my opponent misses a land drop here, Karn is definitely taking their land. They play a Spire Bluff Canal. The only way this seems like it would really go wrong for us is if my opponent has a Spell Pierce at this point. Okay, they Lava Dart our face for an additional Prowess trigger. Sorry, I didn't cut off the mic fast enough. I had to cough. We untap, we draw Ugin, which is excellent. So what we're going to do here, we're going to play Karn, and we are going to have Karn take out our opponent's Fiery Islet. If they have, you know, a Lightning Bolt or something, we've attacked their mana. They can kill Karn here, but we're following this up with Ugin. And then after that, we're going to be following this up with Ulamog. Okay, opponent Lightning Bolts Karn. They attack us for 2. They have no mountains with which to flashback Lava Dart, which tends to be their only free spell effect. Second Karn is great. Ugin here I think is slightly safer. And the game is over. Fantastic. Okay. So versus Blitz, I'm going to bring in another Thragtusk, and I'm going to drop an Ulamog. And, ooh, does Blitz run Blood Moon? That's a good question. Let's find out. The most recent 5.0 list does not run Blood Moon in the main or the side, nor does the few lists before it. So I am not going to side as though my opponent has Blood Moon. Just the one Thragtusk substitution should be enough. Sorry if I sound a little bit hoarse. I've done a lot of talking today. Oh, it has been such a long day. Alright, I am going to mulligan this. I don't want to keep a one-lander. This hand is great if we draw a sphere or a star, so I will be keeping this hand. I'm going to put back... I could keep all 3 lands and put back Thragtusk, even though Thragtusk is kind of a card we want in this matchup. I'm thinking that keeping hands without green sources in this deck is going to be a little bit risky considering the Explorers, but we do have many more forests we can draw. I'm hoping that makes up for it. Okay, our opponent starts Scalding Tarn, correct? Scalding Tarn, probably for a Steam Vents. It is a Steam Vents. Shocked for a Soulscar Mage. Okay. We untap. We draw an Urza's Factory. I forgot to take Urza's Factory out. So we're playing with Urza's Factory. We'll start Power Plant, pass the turn. Opponent attacks us for 1. Probably a Light Up the Stage hand here. They may not have a second land at all, which I imagine is why my opponent is playing the way they are playing. Wooded Foothills, Swift Spear. Those are pretty good top decks off of Light Up the Stage. So our opponent fetches up a mountain, plays a Soulscar Mage out of hand. We untap, draw 3rd tower. What is it with me and drawing towers, huh? I mean, if we top deck mine, we're playing a Karn. Probably doesn't matter, but... Okay, my opponent plays a Swift Spear into a Manamorphose. Yeah, we're probably just dead. That is a lot of prowess damage. Adding red, Lightning Bolt. Man, when you have 3 prowess creatures, Lightning Bolt does 6 damage. And a Lava Dart. That's 12. Yep, we are dead. Okay. Game 3. I could bring in Nature's Claim, technically, but I would have to hit my own stuff to do that, and other than Chromatic Star, that would not be anywhere remotely good, so I'm not going to bring in Nature's Claim to hit my own things. The good news is, with us being on the play, in theory, we have an advantage. Not a great hand, gonna mulligan. I mean, like, turn 1 Ancient Stirrings... Hopefully hitting a land. Turn 2, Forest, Explore, Land. We're very far off of Tron, but we do have a Karn Great Creator. Do I want to go to 5? I think I'm going to go to 5. Okay. I will keep this. I'll put back a Sphere and a Forest. We will start Urza's Mine Expedition Map. This way, if we draw a Tron piece, we have turn 3 Tron. A Tron piece that isn't Urza's Mine, I should say. Okay. So play an Expedition Map, pass the turn. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa and passes. Interesting. We untap. We draw a second Expedition Map. Play a Forest. We'll get a Power Plant. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play End Crack Map, and then we can have turn 4 Tron. That's pretty decent. Opponent fetches up a Steam Vents tapped. This might indicate that they have a Ceremonious Rejection or a like Spell Pierce effect. Okay, my opponent is playing a Manamorphose on turn 2, which means they're probably playing the 5-mana blue creature Stormwing Entity. I was correct. Opponent scries 2. I think I'm pretty glad I did not risk the double forest hand with Explore, because I think this is going to be better. We'll probably either go for Trinisphere or like Sundering Titan, depending on how much life we have. Okay, so my opponent passes, we untap, we draw Explore, so play power plant, play expedition map, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Spire Bluff Canal, Manamorphose. Okay, they trigger Prowess, adding double red. They opt. Okay. So my opponent's deck does play 2 Abrades out of the sideboard, which means Ensnaring Bridge is not a guaranteed deal. We might still have to wish for it. I'd prefer to get something like Sundering Titan if at all possible, but that may not be feasible. Okay, opponent is thinking hard. Them floating double red means they might be thinking about playing an Abrade. Okay, they Lava Dart our face. And they Lava Dart our face again. They're going to hit us for 7. Whoa, they're going deep. What else is in their hand? Like Guide, Grape Shot? Like... Okay, opponent hits us for 8. So crack map, hit tower, untap, draw Thragtusk, play tower. So we can either play Karn and wish for Bridge or Trinisphere, or we can play Thragtusk and go to 14. I think we go for Trinisphere here. So play out Chromatic Star, play out Karn, wish, grab Trinisphere, play Trinisphere. Pass the turn. Now my opponent will be able to attack and kill Karn, but if they do that, they're not throwing damage at us. And if they have they have to have a land and an Abrade to deal with Trinisphere. And if they don't, they can't even cast spells. So they attack Karn. Karn down. They pass. They do not have land number 3. Excellent. So play Expedition Map off of Tower. Crack Expedition Map. Get an additional tower. Play Tower. Play 1 Thraggy Boy. Swagtusk enters the battlefield. We go up to 14. Pass the turn. Next turn we can spend cycling a bunch of things. When it goes to combat, they attack us for 3. We go to 11. We untap. Draw Forest. So start by playing Explore. Draw a power plant. Sack Star for green. Draw another power plant. Well, play power plant. Go to combat. And attack our opponent for 5. They untap. They find their 3rd land. I am immediately existentially threatened. If we could top deck our Singleton Ulamog, that would be fantastic. If not, an Ancient Stirrings would be quite good. My opponent can only cast 1 spell, though. I think in the worst case, it's going to be something like Lightning Bolt, because they're almost certainly likely to even win this race, being able to cast 1 spell a turn. Opponent goes to combat. They attack us for 3. We go down to 8. They could be slow rolling in a Braid or have a Remand or something. And we draw Ulamog. Play a Forest. Play Ulamog, exiling this and Steam Vents. Opponent has a Braid for Trinisphere. Okay. They could Lava Dart us. Ulamog resolves, go to combat. Attack for 5. And they have to have 8 damage out of hand. So if their 6 cards are untapped red source, bolt, 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 we lose. They could play a blocker to delay for a turn. They're dead in 2 turns no matter what. They're dead to an Ugin through a blocker. They play Fiery Islet. They have a Sprite Dragon. This is not Bolt, Bolt, Bolt. They attack us for 1. Lava Dart would have been 3 damage there. Play a Soul Scar Mage. Okay. We untap. Draw Forest. Go to combat. Exile the top 20 cards of our opponent's deck. We exiled no Monastery Swiftspears. Okay. Opponent chumps, goes to 2. This means they can't use a second Fiery Islet. We're going to hold the Forest in hand, make them sweat it out a little bit. There's still a good chance we die here. We did hit 3 mutagenic growths, so we don't have to worry about that. Opponent can't actually cast one. They have no mountains to flashback Lava Dart, but that is exactly 7 damage, which is what we didn't play around. I guess it was technically safer to hold back Thragtusk there, because they had to block Ulamog, did they not? Yeah, they had to block Ulamog. Ulamog would have killed them in one more swing. But had I kept back Thragtusk, we still would have died. Because I would have been able to block Swiftspear here, but I still would have taken 3 damage. So overall, it didn't matter, but it was very close. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 2. Round 2, here we go. Alright, I didn't have to wait at all. Okay, well, this is a potential turn for Ulamog. Just have to find an Urza's Mine in a draw step plus Ancient Stirrings plus Chromatic Star. Opponent suspends Greater Gargadon. Restore Balance is not a good matchup for us, regardless of Tron configuration, I think. So we're going to start Power Plant, play Star, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, Gargadon ticking down. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn, we untap. Draw Expedition Map. Sack Star for green. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Play Tower. Scrying for Urza's Mine. Opponent has a Force of Negation, pitching Brazen Borrower. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn. They only have 3 cards left in hand. If we can... Opponent bolts our face. If we can find a Urza's Mine on draw step, we can prevent them from casting any spells for free with a Trinisphere. Opponent shocks, which likely means they have... Okay, I'm going to play Expedition Map first. Okay, Expedition Map resolves. So we'll play Tower and fetch up a Mine. Pass the turn. If my opponent just has Restore Balance, Electro Dominance, sack all their lands, we scoop. Because we would discard our hand, lose all of our lands, and then die. Okay, opponent plays a 4th land. We untap, we draw a second Ulamog. So attempt Karn. Karn resolves. Go ahead and wish for Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. Put a Bolts Karn. Trinisphere resolves. No more free spells for our opponent, so we can freely attack their mana with Ulamog Chain. Opponent scoops. They can't beat the Trinisphere. Alright. So this seems like a matchup where we want Veil of Summer. We technically probably want Wilt or Nature's Claim. I'm going to cut Wormcoil. Actually, not Wormcoil or Thragtusk. I'm going to cut an Ugin, because he's not that great in this matchup. I think I'm also going to cut an Ulamog. And my rationale behind this is, hitting their mana could actually accelerate them into an Electro Dominance, or force them to Electro Dominance, and if they do that, we just lose. Because then we have to sack all of our lands. Potentially a threat, too. And I'm going to cut 1 Karn Liberated. I guess I can't just cut, like, all of my top end. That doesn't make any sense. I'll cut an Explore. Try it like this. Alright, this is a mulligan. This is a little bit of a sketchy keep. I'll put back a Sylvan Scrying. my opponent starts Island. We untap and draw a Karn, Great Creator. So start Power Plant, Expedition Map. Okay, they did not force the Expedition Map. Opponent opts. Okay. They untap, they draw, they play Scalding Tarn, they crack Scalding Tarn, they get a Steam Vents untapped, exile Simian Spirit Guide and probably play an As Foretold. They play an As Foretold. Okay. They have an Ancestral Visions or a... They cast Restore Balance, forcing us to discard. So discard Thragtusk, Stirrings, and Scrying. Oh! Oh, that was terrible. Oh, I misread what Restore Balance actually did. Oh, that's horrible. Well, we're gonna try and fight through it, but I think I just screwed myself. Because we could have untapped, cracked for the third Tron piece, and then untapped and played Karn. Obviously I am not going to do that, because choose a number. Yup, okay. Then discard the rest. I don't play around balance stuff enough. So we'll go ahead and Sylvan Scrying, get an Urza's Mine. Actually should have gotten the tower there, because I had a greater chance of drawing mine than tower, because I discarded a tower like a fool. Opponent untaps, As Foretold ticks up to 2. And they pass. They miss a land drop, or purposefully don't play one. Play an Urza's Mine. Attempt to play Karn. Karn resolves. Wish. Grab Trinisphere again. Pass the turn. I'd like to draw a Veil to protect Trinisphere with. I think that'd be great. Opponent bounces Karn with Brazen Borrower. Untaps, As Foretold ticks up to 3. They play a second As Foretold, using the first As Foretold. Oh no. Electro Dominance casting Ancestral Visions. I guess that's not the worst case scenario. So we untap, we draw a Forest. Opponent does not do anything silly like click us. I guess I'm going to go with Trinisphere here. My opponent could have like a Mystical Dispute or a Force of Negation, but they do not. I guess I could have led on an Ancient Stirrings, but I kind of wanted to pump fake that I had a Veil of Summer. So my opponent, until they play a land, can't actually cast any other spells, even with As Foretold. Meaning that if I untap, draw a land, and play Karn, I can wish for Liquid Metal Coating. I actually don't even need another land, because I can't play it in the same turn, because Trinisphere. But y'all understand what I mean. I think, I hope. Okay, my opponent casts Restore Balance. Now we choose what we keep. So we're going to keep a Forest, a Mine, and a Power Plant. Sacrifice the other 2. And we get to keep 3 cards in your hand. So we keep Ancient Stirrings, Chromatic Sphere, Karn, discard Thragtusk. Okay. Opponent passes. We untap. Draw Forest. Play Forest. Play Karn. Wish. And we will get a Liquid Metal Coating. Pass the turn. Opponent cannot cast any spells. They untap. Counters on As Foretold. Opponent has the mana to cast exactly 1 spell, unless it's a removal spell for Trinisphere, in which case they will have the mana to cast that, plus whatever they can play on their As Foretold across the next 2 turns. Opponent cannot beat the Trinisphere, and gives up. Cool. Alright, I will see you all in round 3. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. Alright, well I'm not going to turn down a turn 3 Karn Liberated, so we're going to keep, even on the draw. Okay, opponent starts Temple of Enlightenment. It looks as though we are against Ad Nauseam or janky blue-white control. Okay, we draw Ugin. Ugin not likely to be good against really either of those decks. It would be better against blue-white control than it would be against Ad Nauseam, but basically our best plan versus Ad Nauseam is to slam Karn and attack as much mana as we possibly can, which we're kind of on track to do. So Players is mine. Crack, we'll go ahead and get Tower. The good news is they play a lot of artifact mana, which makes Karn Great Creator even better than Karn Liberated against them. If my opponent plays a land and plays a Phyrexian Unlife, we're definitely just nuking mana with Karn Liberated this turn. We want Karn Great Creator to resolve, and so if my opponent has like a... Oh, Valakut Awakening. They're going to cycle away some cards in their hand. If they have a Pact of Negation, we want them to use it on this Karn, because that forces them to Angel's Grace, and they don't have the mana to combo. Alright. Exile City of Brass. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. This is a new type of Ad Nauseam list I've never seen, one that is playing Valakut Awakening. I guess it could technically be something other than Ad Nauseam. They play a Pentad Prism. We untap. We draw another Karn Liberated. So, play Power Plant. Play Great Creator. They packed Great Creator. Okay. We still have the down tick here. We don't really have an option on that. So we hit Temple of Enlightenment. Then we play Chromatic Star. Crack Star for green. We draw another Karn Great Creator. Play Karn Great Creator. And the game is over. So it looked like my opponent had to pay for Pact with Pentad Prism and like a Simian Spirit Guide. So versus my opponent, I kind of want the Nature's Claims, Veils, and Wilts. I'm going to go down Thragtusk, Wormcoil, and Ugin here. I need to cut one more card. I think it's an Explore. We brought in a lot of other green spells. And basically the plan is attack our opponent's mana as hard as possible while protecting ourselves. Okay, this hand would work, but I think it's a little bit slow, so I'm going to go to 6 and see if I can't get a better one. This is a turn 3 Tron hand, and we do have Karn Great Creator, which is the better one of our threats. We can either keep Blast Zone or we can keep Forest. Forest gives us the top deck ability. Blast Zone gives us an additional removal spell for artifact mana other than Lotus Bloom. So I'm going to keep the Blast Zone here. We should only need the green mana once. Opponent did mulligan to 5, which is excellent news for us. They start Darkslick Shores into a Thoughtseize. So they can take Sphere or they can take Scrying. If we had kept the Forest, actually they should probably take Karn Great Creator. But they are down to 3 cards in hand, which means they have to have a lot of top decks to actually make that work. Now I really disagree with my opponent's Thoughtseize choice there. Sphere is the effect we have the most of left in the deck that would work on curve. Like I could have top decked a Sphere or a Star there. I think if my opponent wanted to take Sphere or Scrying, they should have taken Scrying. But I think in reality, they should have taken Karn Great Creator. Alright, I mean, I guess their take was fine if we're just going to top deck Ulamogs. Now, if we could just top deck a tower... I mean, Expedition Map does work. Play Blast Zone. Play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent Valakut Awakening, taking a damage. They put back all the cards in their hand and draw 3 new cards. They untap, so my opponent has 4 cards in hand now. They play a Phyrexian Unlife, and another City of Brass. So my opponent will be able to combo next turn. We're going to fetch up a tower, untap, draw another power plant, play tower, Play Karn, Great Creator. And I think the best way I have to attack my opponent's mana, if they have the full instant speed combo, is going to be Trinisphere here. This prevents my opponent from doing any Simian Spirit Guide shenanigans post potential ad nauseum here. Actually, does it? I think I still died of Thassa's Oracle. Okay, opponent passes. We untap. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Let's go ahead and Wish. Just to see if I can bait anything out for my opponent. Get a Liquid Metal Coating. Play a Power Plant. Play an Ulamog. Take out Unlife and a Rainbow Land. If my opponent wants to Pact, they have to pay 3 mana, and we win the match. Nice. That was a pretty savage beating for Ad Nauseam. I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright. We would like to play first. 2 Tron pieces, 3 stars, 2 cards. Seems like a Thoughtseize resistant / counter resistant hand. So we're going to keep. Go ahead and start Urza's Mine, Chromatic Sphere. Pass the turn. We could draw Scrying, we could draw Ancient Stirrings, we could draw even another Sphere or Star, we could draw a Power Plant. There's a lot of cards that would be good to top deck. Opponent starts Polluted Delta into Blood Crypt, telling me that they're probably Death Shadow. Yep, they are definitely Death Shadow. Opponent attacks us for 1. We go down to 19. We untap. We draw a Karn Great Creator. So, sack Sphere for green. We get an Ugin. Play Sphere. Play Tower. Sack Sphere for green. We get a Sylvan Scrying, so play Chromatic Star. It's going to be a turn 4 Tron. We can play Karn Great Creator next turn, which can stop Bombat Courier from... no, we can't. Never mind. What was I saying? Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire, fetches. Shocks down to 14. My opponent plays a 1/1 Scourge of the Skyclaves, hits us for 1 and takes Scourge up to 2. We untap. We draw the Power Plant naturally. Perfect. Play Power Plant. Play the Karn Father. Exile Scourge. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Sunbaked Canyon. Bolts Karn. Plays a Kroxa, forcing us to discard. We're going to discard, probably Sylvan Scrying, I think. We don't need it. Opponent hits us for 1, sure. I'd like to top deck a land here. I think that would be great. Actually, I should have kept Sylvan Scrying if I wanted to play Ugin. Play another Karn. Exile Bombat Courier. Pass the turn. It's Karns on Parade. Opponent shocks another Blood Crypt. Bolts Karn. And plays another Scourge of the Skyclaves. We untap. We draw an Ulamog. So sack Star for green. See if we can't draw land here. We do. Which means it's Ugin time. Okay. We're going to take the safe route in case my opponent has another Lightning Bolt and down tick Ugin. This also means they can't replay Skyclave, Scourge of the Skyclaves off of Lurrus. Okay. Opponent untaps. They're almost able to bring back Kroxa. Okay. They play Death Shadow and they put Lurrus into their hand. We untap. We draw and explore. Play Karn. Wish with Karn. Trinisphere is a little more backbreaking right now. Play Trinisphere. And downtick Ugin for 1. Pass the turn. So now my opponent will only be able to cast one spell. And if we draw land, it's absolutely game over forever. Opponent plays another Death Shadow. We untap, draw a forest, play a forest, uptick Karn, downtick Ugin, play Ulamog, nuke our opponent's lands, and the game is over. Okay, now, I'm pretty sure Death Shadow plays Blood Moon. Rakdos Death Shadow, I'm like 99% sure, actually plays Blood Moon out of the side. Not always. The most recent list doesn't. But pretty frequently. So we're going to bring in Thrag, Wilt, Claim. Veil we could bring in. I don't think it's super necessary. So what are we taking out for all this? I think cutting one Ulamog is prudent. Maybe we don't need the Thrag Tusk, actually. Karn is not actually that great against them, so I'm going to go down to 3 Karn Liberated. I'll cut... I don't think I want to cut Explore. I'm only going to bring in 1 Nature's Claim, 2 Wilt. And... I'm going to go down... I don't know. This is actually kind of a tough sideboard. I'm going to cut Urza's Factory. Let's try it like this. I think trimming a land is fine. It makes Explore worse, but I don't actually think that's that bad. We could have actually cut Explore. Okay, I don't like this hand, so I'm going to mulligan. I don't like this hand because we don't have any way to cast Sylvan Scrying, and we're dead to basically 1 Thoughtseize. So this hand's a little better. It does resist 1 Thoughtseize, at least. So we are going to keep this hand, and I'm going to put back Karn Liberated. Karn Great Creator, actually we have some chance of casting, even if we don't assemble Tron. We do have 2 land tutors, and this is currently a turn 4 Tron, which is not bad. Hopefully it's fast enough. So my opponent starts Land Bauble Inquisition, so they can take anything but Karn Great Creator here. Expedition Map, I think, is our best opener, so they should probably take Map. They do. We untap, they draw a card, then we draw a card. Okay, we draw an Urza's Tower. So, play Urza's mine, pass the turn. I really doubt that we're going to have to worry about a turn 2 Blood Moon. Okay, opponent fetches and shocks a Blood Crypt. Plays a Bombat Courier. Plays a 2nd Courier, goes to combat, exiles 2 cards. We untap. We draw Chromatic Star. So I could play Tower and leave up Claim, redraw, or I could play Forest and go Scrying right now. I could try and claim a Courier, but that feels definitely incorrect. I think I need this claim in case my opponent does actually have Blood Moon. I'm going to go for the Scrying play here. So let's go get Power Plant. Pass the turn. Explore would now be a pretty decent top deck. If my opponent played Blood Moon, we'd Explore, Land, Star, Claim, Blood Moon on their end step. Okay, they play a Scourge of the Skyclaves. They exile 2 more cards. We could go for the really big brain play to kill Scourge from this position, because unless my opponent's last card in hand is a Lightning Bolt, I could play out Star, claim my own Star, go back up to 20 and kill Scourge. We draw Wormcoil. I'm actually going to do that. So play Chromatic Star. Claim Star. So unless my opponent has a Lightning Bolt or a Gut Shot, we kill Scourge this way and draw a card. Nice. Okay, play out a Sphere. Pass the turn. So my opponent can draw a whole bunch of cards next turn, but short of 2 hand hate spells, I don't think they can actually answer this hand, and if we resolve a Wormcoil, we're in an excellent place. We're going to try for Karn Great Creator first, though, because Karn Great Creator prevents our opponent from cracking Bombat Couriers. It either forces them to do so immediately, or they have to like hope we wish and then have a Lightning Bolt or something like that. So opponent attacks with the Couriers, puts another card under each. passes to their next main phase, and the game is lagging. Plays a Scourge of the Skyclaves and a Death Shadow. We untap. We draw another sphere. So players' tower. Play out Great Creator. Ooh, this is perfect. Wish. We get Ensnaring Bridge. Play out Ensnaring Bridge. Play out Chromatic Sphere. So they have to top deck exactly a Braid or Kolaghan's command, otherwise they can't attack. And they can't crack their couriers to find it either. That's pretty nice. There'll be no Mishra's Bobbling. They could put Luris in their hand. They have Cleansing Wildfire to take us off of Tron. That's fine. They get to draw for that. They draw Thoughtseize to take Wormcoil, which does make us a bit sad. They could have attacked with the Couriers, though, and chose not to. I think my opponent thought they wouldn't be able to attack. Okay. I guess drawing cards is dangerous here. What could we wish for? Could just wish for Coding. I think I'm going to try and explore first. Hopefully I can get this card out of my hand. This is a bad thing with Bridge. Oh, okay, never mind. So we have 6 mana. Could go get Walking Ballista. I think Coding or Trinisphere is probably better. So we're going to go down to 1. We're going to get Liquimetal Coating. Play out Coating. And now I have no cards in hand. So my opponent can't attack. We'll stop on their upkeep. Shut off. Blood Crypt. Make our opponent think about cracking one of their lands. They don't. Okay. We untap. Draw Thragtusk. Shut off Blood Crypt. Okay, they crack Nurturing Peatland to draw. That seems risky. Blow up Blood Crypt. Play Thragtusk, which will kill Scourge of the Skyclaves and stop our opponent from attacking. Okay, pass the turn. And opponent scoops the match, leaving us 3-0. This list seems pretty strong. I'm going to go ahead and restart the client, and we'll see you guys in round 5. Alrighty. Round 5, here we go. 3 2-0s with this deck. Feels like we're doing really good. And I mean, some of it's luck, for sure, but... Okay, well, I think we have to mulligan this. I mean, potentially it's very good. If we draw, like, a land, and we get to explore early, we could get to a Karn Great Creator, but I think we have better 6s. This is a better 6, as an example. So we're going to keep and put back a Sylvan Scrying. Don't mind keeping redundant Karn Great Creators. Opponent also mulliganed to 6, but they kept when they got there. Opponent starts Wooded Foothills, cracks Wooded Foothills, finds a basic mountain into a Soulscar Mage. This is probably Blitz again. We draw a redundant tower, so we start with Power Plant, pass the turn. So the bad thing about my current version is that we don't have any Spatial Contortions or Dismembers in this list at all. So the risk is running up against an opponent like this. We don't have any Maze Mind Tomes either. Opponent hits us for 1, so they get to light up the stage. They find double Sprite Dragon. Okay. We untap. We draw Chromatic Sphere. Players is mine. Play Chromatic Sphere. And I'm just going to go for the sack now. Okay. Could have potentially had a lot of mana next turn, but we had no way of knowing that we were going to draw Explore. If that Sylvan Scrying in our hand had been an Explore, I would have saved the Chromatic Sphere or Star. But I doubt that we need to... I doubt that we need to actually explore this game. I think that just Karn Great Creator into Trinisphere, followed by Karn Great Creator into anything else, like Sundering Titan is going to be great. Okay, opponent plays a Sprite Dragon from Exile. They do not have a third land. That is encouraging. We take 2. Untap, we draw Karn Liberated. Play Karn Great Creator. Wish with Karn Great Creator. We will get a Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. Pass the turn. So my opponent can no longer cast spells. They have to top deck a land in order to cast anything next turn. They found the land. 3 mana, they play a Swift Spear. They attack us. They change their mind. They attack Karn, and they attack Karn. Okay. Makes sense to me. We untap. Draw Forest. So we can go up to 8 mana, go down to 6 mana, and then go up to 9 mana? I mean, I guess why not, right? So we'll go ahead and explore. Oh, Trinisphere. Never mind. New plan. Well, I can still play Karn Liberated this way, so explore. Ooh, another Karn. Play Karn Liberated. Nuke a land. Pass the turn. So unless my opponent top decks another land, they still can't cast a spell. They can attack and kill Karn, though. Makes sense to me. We untap. We draw Thragtusk. So Sylvan Scrying. Get another tower. Play tower. We can play Karn Great Creator and Karn Liberated. So play Karn Liberated. Down tick. Yeah, hitting a mountain, just to make sure they can't cast spells. Play Karn Great Creator. Wish. Getting a Sundering Titan. Pass the turn. Now my opponent can only kill 1 Planeswalker. They still can't cast any spells. They play a Spire Bluff Canal. They probably have to kill Karn Liberated. They could attack each one for like 1, I suppose. Okay. They choose to kill Karn Liberated. We untap. Draw an Ulamog, and that's just going to be the game. Play Ulamog. Nuke their lands. Yeah. Nice. Well, that was awesome. Okay, so versus Blitz. I think I want Thragtusk. We're pretty sure they're not playing Blood Boon. They probably don't have anything we need to Veil of Summer. So I'm just going to drop an Ulamog for a Thragtusk, and we're going to try it like this. It's kind of nice that we get to replay the one matchup we lost. Because I feel like we're very well set up for this matchup, with the exception of that we don't have any spatial contortions, which really is more indicative to me that we don't have our sideboard tuned for the current metagame than anything else. Like, this is not a bad list at all. Like, you could totally drop Veil of Summer if you have an aggro meta, or more Veil of Summers is what I'm saying. I wouldn't drop it entirely, but if you have an aggro meta, you could drop like a Veil of Summer for a spatial contortion, you could drop a Wilt for a spatial contortion, or a Nature's Claim. Yeah, turn 3 Tron, we'll keep. This is with a Chromatic Star and an Explore along the way too. So should be a quick Thragtusk. Opponent does not mulligan, they start Mountain Swiftspear. We untap, we draw an Ancient Stirring, so play an Urza's Mine into an Expedition map, pass the turn. Opponent plays a second Swiftspear. No second land, though. We untap, we draw Blast Zone, which is going to be amazing. Play Urza's Tower, pass the turn. I mean, if they play a Soulscar Mage now, I'm probably just going to explore out a Blast Zone. Okay. Opponent attacks us for 2. They probably have a light up the stage, otherwise why would they keep this hand? Yep. Okay. Soulscar Mage Swiftspear, no lands. Alright, we're going to get a Power Plant. And we are going to go for the Thragtusk play this turn. So play Power Plant, play Chromatic Sphere, crack Sphere for green, draw a card, Urza's Mine, explore, play a Forest, play Thragtusk. Next turn, we're hoping that they just play like another Swift Spear out of the Exile Zone. Or if they have a land, they play Soulscar Swift Spear. Then we can play Blast Zone and 4-for-1 them. Post-board, our opponent should have a pretty decent matchup with us. So they Lightning Bolt Thragtusk. No other lands. I think my opponent has Mutagenic Growth, so I'm not going to block. They give up on their 1-drops in exile. Okay, so we're going to start Ancient Stirrings, first of all, just to make sure we don't have a better play. Like, say, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, as an example. And the game's over, we win the match, and we go 4-1. So, Blitz absolutely seems like a winnable matchup, and I know I punted in the first time around playing Blitz, but I don't think... I think if I recall, it was a punt that didn't end up mattering, so... we definitely could have 5-0'd with this list, so let's open our treasure chest. It feels like it's been forever. Treasure chest number 1, we get 10 play points and a Assure Assemble. Okay. Treasure chest number 2, we get 10 play points and a Trait Doctoring. Okay. Treasure chest number 3, we get a 5 play points, a Flame Blast Dragon, and a Glorybound Initiate. Treasure chest number 4, we find 25 play points, a Belby Corrupted Observer treasure, and the Great Henge. The Great Henge worth anything? It is. That is worth 8 tickets. Okay, final treasure chest, we get 10 play points and a Death Baron. Death Baron was, for a long time, worth a bunch on Moto because it only had 1 printing and was actually played in a couple of decks, but no longer is the case. So, let's take a quick minute to talk about this list, and then I'm going to have to go to bed very shortly after that. So, all in all, I like the threat density. I really liked Explore. I know we didn't get a lot of Explore highlights this particular time, but I think the higher land count with Explore feels nicer. Having more green sources is great for the times that you get Cleansing Wildfire or Ghost Quartered, and Explore lets you make up the difference when that happens, because if your opponent's taking the time off to disrupt your mana, you can use Explore to get back ahead, and you will get to like 5 lands for a Thragtusk. It makes Thragtusk way easier to play. 6 lands for like Karn, Liquid Metal Coating, or Wormcoil Engine. Possibly even 7 lands for Big Karn. And yes, the ideal situation of like turn 3 Ugin does exist. There was one time I didn't play Explore, I think, exactly how I should have, but it's new to the list. It's something that's going to take some getting used to. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. She's getting a little senile. Porter's sleeping here at my feet. And I think out of the sideboard, I would like at least 1 Spatial Contortion. I'll probably drop either a Veil or a Wilt for it. But other than that, let me know what you think about this list. I would probably replace Urza's Factory as well if you were going to play this list. You could replace it with a Scavenger Grounds and a Graveyard heavy meta. You could replace it with a Cavern of Souls if you're playing slightly more creatures, or like Thought-Knot Seers. You could replace it with a Besiege You if you're in a super counter heavy meta. That might be fun. Yeah, but let me know what you think about this list, and whether you guys enjoyed this video or not. I had a lot of fun making this one. This one, I think there's great potential in Explore-Tron. So yeah. If you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays, usually at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though there should be a stream sometime after this video. It'll probably be around, what would that be? Earlier than normal. I'll say that much, but it should be on New Year's Eve. And yeah, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you for supporting this channel and watching. We are almost 2/3 the way to monetization, which is a huge milestone for me. It's a big deal. You guys are great. I'll talk to you later. Bye!